The ancient Chinese inventions predate the West. Why was the West a century late? Can you believe it? The world's first bicycle was not born in Europe during the Industrial Revolution, but rather from the hands of Huang Luzhuang, a masterful craftsman in the early Qing Dynasty of China. During the reign of Emperor Kangxi, 1661 to 1722, this mechanical genius created the double-wheeled small cart, which used wooden gears to link the wheels, allowing a single person to travel 100 li a day, a full 100 years earlier than the célérifère, or wooden horse wheel, invented by the Frenchman Sieur de Sivrac in 1791. Even more astonishing is that while Europeans of the time were using hair tension to observe humidity, Huang Luzhuang, based on the principle of lute string slackening when damp, manufactured the Dryness and Wetness Tester, capable of predicting whether sunny or overcast 3 days in advance. Its sensitivity far surpassed the hair hygrometer that did not appear in the West until 1783, making it a brilliant pearl of ancient Chinese technology. This is no legend. This craftsman, Huang Luzhuang, made a wooden bicycle that could travel 80 li daily, and could advance with a mere shake of the crank, far more advanced than the non-driven wooden vehicle by Sivrac in 1790. Which had to be pushed with the feet and could not be considered a true bicycle at all. Even more astounding discoveries follow. In the Western Han Dynasty, the Chinese already demonstrated extraordinary wisdom by successfully developing a sophisticated apparatus later known as the anti-shake incense burner. This ingenious creation achieved an incredible function through its precise internal structure. No matter how the censer was flipped or turned, the burning charcoal inside remained stable and secure, with no ash spilling. Its core design principle is identical to the modern gyroscope principle, a concept that was only begun to be explored by the Italian genius Leonardo da Vinci 1,000 years later during the Renaissance. Concurrently, another great Han Dynasty invention, the bronze caliper, is equally marvelous. This caliper employed a unique mortise and tenon interlocking design, allowing for precise length measurement through the accurate coordination of a sliding groove with an engraved scale. Not only was it functionally indistinguishable from modern calipers, but its design philosophy and construction preceded the West by a full 1,700 years. These breathtaking inventions all demonstrate the wisdom and creativity of ancient Chinese artisans, making an indelible contribution to the development of human civilization. Next, let us uncover 3 of the most subversive lost inventions to see just how incredible the wisdom of the ancient Chinese was, and why these black technologies failed to be passed down. A mechanical revolution a century early, Huang Luzhuang's future creations. The inventory of inventions by the early Qing Dynasty artisan Huang Luzhuang could have stunned 18th century Europeans. The bicycle he built in 1683 was over 3 chi long, could seat a person, moved by itself without pushing, and was sustained by turning a crank, capable of traveling 80 li in a day. The first non-driven, non-steerable wooden bicycle was not made in Europe until 1790 by the French, requiring the rider to push the ground with their feet. The German patent for a handlebar-equipped bicycle was not filed until 1816. 133 years later than Huang Luzhuang's. His Ruiguang mirror, a spotlight, had a diameter of 5 or 6 chi and could project light for several li. Its sunlight in winter could make a person warm all over. Similar devices did not appear in Europe until 1779, nearly a century later. Even more remarkable was his thinking on mass production. He custom-built a spring manufacturing device for creating intricate mechanisms and offered it for free use to his peers. A sheer prototype of industrial thinking in the age of handicraft. Meanwhile, European artisans were still working in isolation. Simple standardized parts production did not emerge until the late 18th century. Analytical commentary. Huang Luzhuang's inventions were by no means accidental. Ingenious but impractical gadgets, but systematic innovation that deeply integrated ancient Chinese knowledge of geometry and mechanics. This genius inventor, who lived during the Kangxi era of the Qing Dynasty, demonstrated a cross-disciplinary creativity comparable to Da Vinci, with 28 precision machines such as the self-propelling heat-removing fan, and the Dryness and Wetness Tester, for measuring distance. His exquisite use of gear transmission and lever principles knocked on the door of mechanical civilization a full century before the European Industrial Revolution pioneers. Regrettably, with the loss of Chichimiliu, catalog of wonderful devices, the record of his life's work, these ingenious inventions failed to achieve industrial application and ultimately faded into the depths of time. In comparison to the same historical period, the wooden two-wheeled, running machine, invented by German Karl Drais in 1817, despite its rudimentary construction and far less mechanical sophistication than Huang Luzhuang's, gained legal recognition through the protection of the Prussian patent system. It was subsequently iterated upon and upgraded over the next century, eventually evolving into the modern bicycle. This stark contrast in technological development between East and West reflects a deeper historical pattern. Ancient China never lacked genius inventors with exceptional creativity. What was truly missing was a technological development ecosystem centered on scientific literature inheritance, patent system protection, and industrial transformation. While the West transformed technical inventions into accumulable social wealth through institutional innovations like the Statute of Monopolies and patent law, those mechanical sprouts in China that should have led the world's industrial revolution, lacking the institutional climate, were reduced to fleeting, brilliant meteors in the historical sky. One cannot help but sigh with regret over the winding course of technological development in Chinese civilization. 2. Measurement black technology, Wang Mang's time-traveling caliper. The Han Dynasty bronze caliper unearthed in Yangzhou in 1992 stunned archaeologists. It had a main scale and a sliding vernier, capable of measuring diameter, depth, and thickness, structurally almost identical to a modern vernier caliper. This artifact dates back to the Wang Mang interregnum, around the 1st century AD. The vernier caliper was not invented in the West until 1631 by the French mathematician Pierre Vernier, more than 1,500 years later than in China. More ironically, 18th century European artisans were still using crude rulers, often with measurement errors exceeding 1 centimeter, while the Wang Mang caliper achieved millimeter-level precision. Looking at its function, gripping the fish-shaped handle with the left hand and pulling the ring-shaped handle with the right made measuring the diameter of circles and the depth of objects effortless, 10 times easier to use than the contemporary European two-legged compass. While 17th century English clockmakers were still relying on eye estimation for part sizes, the ancient Chinese already possessed standardized measuring tools. Analytical commentary. The stunning discovery of the Wang Mang caliper is like a historical ruler, accurately measuring the profound achievements of ancient China in the field of precision measurement, completely subverting the entrenched misconception that ancient China lacked precision measurement technology. This bronze implement, born 2,000 years ago, already possessed the rudimentary structure of a modern vernier caliper, with precision down to the millimeter, demonstrating astonishing design wisdom. Its existence proves not only the urgent need for standardized production in China at the time but also reflects the highly developed handicraft system behind it. From mining and smelting to bronze casting and precision machining, every step involved the artisan's extreme pursuit of accuracy. However, why did such advanced technology eventually get lost? Essentially, the Wang Mang caliper was a Gongting Zhuanshu, palace exclusive, tool tailored for the manufacture of imperial artifacts, serving the stringent specifications required by the royal family for ritual vessels, weapons, and other high-end objects. This palace-exclusive nature made it difficult to break through the rigid hierarchy and flow into the hands of folk artisans. 3. Environmental pioneer, the Western Han, smokeless lamp, and gyroscopic sensor. The Western Han goosefish bronze lamp made environmental protection smoother than modern people do. Water was held in the goose's belly, and the lamp's smoke traveled through the chimney into the water to dissolve, leaving absolutely no oily smoke odor. Meanwhile, European nobles endured black smoke staining their walls from oil lamps until the 18th century, with chimney-equipped oil lamps not appearing until 1780, nearly 2,000 years later than in China. Even more remarkable was the central axis sensor, a spherical bronze furnace held burning charcoal, and no matter how it was rolled, the furnace body always remained level, with absolutely no charcoal spilling. It employed the principle of the gyroscope, which Da Vinci only sketched a similar concept for in the 15th century, 1,400 years later than in China. The Qing Dynasty silver censer unearthed in Xi'an in 1963 had an outer diameter of only 5 centimeters but featured a triple-nested gyroscopic structure, more exquisite than the rudimentary gyroscopes used for European navigation in the 18th century. In contrast, Europeans at that time were still using earthenware pots filled with charcoal for heating, which would spill ash all over the bed with the slightest movement. Analytical commentary. These ingenious inventions were not merely for showing off, but were the result of the ancients' wisdom in optimizing daily life details to the extreme. Regrettably, however, these inventions, which encapsulated the extraordinary wisdom of the ancients, all became luxury goods, exclusive to the imperial court. The strict feudal hierarchical system and the tradition of technological monopoly ensured that these advanced technologies were firmly held by the powerful, preventing their transformation into common folk technology. The self-admiration resulting from technological monopoly in ancient China ultimately led to the gradual disappearance of once vastly superior technological advantages, becoming a historical regret that makes one sigh over the course of time. These lost inventions tell us the technological wisdom of the ancient Chinese once ran far ahead of the world. But due to a lack of a heritage system and a detachment from the needs of people's livelihoods, too many black technologies became fleeting legends. Understanding this history is not to boast about the past, but to realize that technological development requires genius innovation, but even more so, institutional protection and universal sharing.